Okay, we're here back with Richie Reads the Room. Everybody seems to like the name.
I love the name.
I think it's a good name because we're reading the room.
That's true. No one in the fucker, so it's not that difficult.
It makes it easy when you don't have a crowd. So, a couple things I wanted to run past you. One, do you think... I don't think guys who drink black coffee really like black coffee. I think they're just showing off.
Or they're really old.
Maybe because they're so old.
It's their only way to show off.
That's the only way.
That's all you got there, Papaw?
I tell you what, the Depression era, I think they show off. There's no way. Okay, there's no way you could give a little kid coffee and he'd like it. It's just like alcohol. I mean, I'm not drinking alcohol for the taste. Wine with dinner, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not drinking alcohol for taste.
No, I drink it to be social and get a buzz.
Yeah, I don't really know why I drink it. It definitely makes you more social. Maybe that's not the goal, but a couple beers, man, it'll loosen you up for sure.
Yeah, I think that if I look at all the times that I drank and felt good, it was just to feel good, or just, it makes a party better. Say what you want.
Oh fuck yeah!
I mean, I don't know what.
Unless you're a dick, it makes you better at whatever you're good at.
We had this guy in high school named Galore. His name was Galore, and all he wanted to do was fight at parties. I've never ever seen him at a party where he didn't start a brawl.
Nice.
And one time at Matt Will's house, his parents went out of town. His dad was a Navy SEAL, a high-ranking Navy SEAL. Their whole living room was covered with his accomplishments, framed in wooden boxes with glass, all his accolades, all his awards, all his medals. And Guy Leo comes in, and everybody at the whole party's like, "Oh man, come on, he's gonna start a fight. Well, let's kick him out. Let's ask him to leave." I'm not asking him to leave. You ask him to leave. Next thing you know, there's a fight. He's fighting in the living room, and just smashes down the wall and just tears all the guy's Navy compliments off the wall.
So his dad was a Navy SEAL, or whoever had the party?
Matt Will's dad was a Navy SEAL.
Oh,
okay. Or no, he was a CB. He wasn't a SEAL. And but he built all this cool stuff during the war. But as soon as that happened, he went crazy on this dude, and the whole party beat him up and dragged him out, and the whole party beat him up in the driveway. I was over there in between beers kicking him in the head. But his name was Guy Lale, and I never saw him again after that. That was the last time I ever saw him.
Lesson learned.
Oh, God.
That's a lesson for society right there, man. Just if everybody wants to kick someone's ass, it's probably a good move.
And I think instead of filming it, they should do it a little faster.
I agree, man. I do not like the fight filmers.
No.
Oh, they should get beat up, too.
They should get beat up.
I fucking can't stand it, man. It drives me crazy. Because I'll watch those. I don't know how we went from black coffee to street fighting, but...
Southern Indiana.
Yeah, that's probably what made your buddy Matt Will win. He had a cup of black coffee. Fucking pissed off. You think you're mad? I had black coffee, asshole.
Let's have a party with just black coffee. Oh, no, wait, that's Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah. I bet the guy with all the military awards drank black coffee.
Oh, I remember him drinking black coffee.
They all did. My dad.
My dad... No, he took a little cream. Merle took a little cream in his coffee. Mm-hmm. But, of course, if you don't think he's a real man, every morning he ate a piece of white bread, slapped a piece of bologna on it, folded it over, grabbed his coffee, and drove to work.
That's a real man.
Mm-hmm. Or, if we didn't have bologna, he'd put a hot dog, white bread around a hot dog.
Wow.
Cold.
Yeah,
because Maji wasn't going to get up and cook him breakfast.
Yeah.
Now, she did every other meal. But breakfast just wasn't her jam.
Yeah.
Wasn't worth it.
Morning wasn't her jam.
No. I remember if we were going to be late to school, we'd have to go get her to sign a thing. And I remember Jules telling me she had the same thing. You go up there and you're like, "Mom?" You get her up in the bed, and she'd be there. And you're like, "Mom, I need you to just sign this thing. Just sign this thing. It's just for school. I just need you to take this pen and just write your name." "Okay, what is it? And you're like, "No, Mom, just sign the thing." And she starts sitting up. "Mom, don't sit up. Don't sit up. I don't need you to sit up." "What is, okay, God damn it, Richie." And the more she'd sit up, the more it was coming at you. It's like, you can just sign. And then I finally just went, Jewel came and told me that, and I said, "You're not forging it anymore?" Because that was like 10th grade. I had it figured out.
Oh, man.
I was forging stuff left and right.
That's fan. How'd that work for you?
Good.
Well,
Good.
look at us now.
No, look at us now.
That's great.
Right?
God.
Look at us
You
now.
know what? I never had the balls to do that forgery shit and all that as a kid. I just took the fucking whatever was coming down the pike. I was always afraid I'd get caught, and that would, for somehow would be worse. I don't know.
Well, but you know what? I thought to myself, that doesn't make sense to me. It's just a signature. Boom. There you go. It never really got me out of any trouble. I mean, I still got busted for everything I did.
Yeah.
But for me to just go, oh, well.
That part would be fine. I just figure I'd get caught. I don't know why. I never worried about getting in trouble. But I never liked it either.
I didn't like skipping school. I didn't like the feeling. I remember the first day, I remember standing in the backyard when I was walking to school with my buddy, and he was the same dude. God, I should have never hung out with him.
Yeah.
He was like, let's just not go. What if we just didn't go? And I'm like, oh, what? Okay. And so we stood there, and that's back when we had watches. Remember wearing a watch?
No, we were too poor.
Okay. My stuff.
I saw them.
We were looking at it, I was like, we're 30 minutes late already. Where are we going to go? So we just went to the woods for the day.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where you go. That's where all the stuff happened. And then we hung out, and then time to go home. I came walking in the door just knowing my mom was going to know something. Didn't know anything. Didn't pay
No,
attention to
yeah.
it.
If you had a lazy teacher, they didn't have all that computerized shit. Man, if you had a cool or a lazy teacher, you'd get away with... Oh, man, I remember missing just shit tons of class in high school, different classes. But you also knew the teachers, you couldn't. They're going to rat you out. You're busted. Yeah.
Who's your favorite teacher of all time?
My favorite teacher of all times. Wow.
You got to
Probably.
think a little bit for that one.
I do, because throughout my insanity, there were teachers that, they're just puzzled and concerned. But Miss Van Ostel, for sure. And then somehow Mom got it mixed up at the teacher conference with this other teacher and basically told this sweet lady that she was a dick to me. I'm like, no, wrong lady. And I remember going back and saying, hey, I didn't, the lady had leg braces on, like the polio type shit. Sweet lady, English. She really believed in me, like, hey, you write, I'm like, yeah, I'll write it, just don't ask me to read this shit. But she was one of the few teachers that would accept, where you had to read it in front of the class. I'd just basically tell you to go fuck off. But if she'd leave me alone, I'd write it and turn it in. She's like, oh, that's really good. That's amazing. But somehow it got mixed up. So her, and then there's probably a dude in high school, Mr. Cranch, and he was a no bullshit guy, but he was funny and he got it. But you didn't fuck up his class. Right? But yeah, that's probably it. How about you?
The first guy that comes to name is Mr. Felice, and Mr. Felice was the history teacher, and all of his teaching was storytelling.
Ooh.
So he would do it. He would be like, okay, the British, the Americans had been living over here, but they were from Britain, and they were loyal to Britain, but then they just kept taxing them. And finally they were going, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. What are we doing? They started asking questions, and then they had this and that. But he told everything in story form. So I had everything but the popcorn. I was riveted.
What a genius.
Oh, everything was story form. And you know what? He caught me cheating off Rob Mason one time, which was weird because that's the only class I ever got A's in was history and human sexuality.
All those homework assignments were all stuck together without a staple.
you put a little side titty in there, I can remember everything, So.
Oh man.
No, but I don't even remember. Did I tell you about finding my school days thing with all the
comments?
for all the years, all the comments and the grades, and you won't believe it.
That should be the credits at the end of your podcast. Just run those.
And all the teachers, how many teachers you think believed in you?
Oh, wow. Not very many. So, what's crazy too in elementary school? Green Valley Elementary, the principal, Mr. Mossler, I was so fucking crazy. And social studies was in the afternoon. Well, by then I'm wired. I didn't care. I had to get out of that room.
Right.
Whatever had to be done was going to go down. And I didn't like social studies. So she would send me down there before she even started that subject. And that principal would sit at a table with me every fucking day and help me with my social studies. And I think some of that, maybe I just wanted the one-on-one. I don't know. But either way. So that principal, even though he wasn't a teacher, that dude believed in me. And then there was an algebra teacher. She's like, "You're really good at this if Mrs. Mellon." But then she was so innocent.
Did she have great boobs?
No, she had a couple of socks with quarters in them.
Oh no, more than one quarter?
Yeah, she had the line across about midway, and I realized that was where her underwear went around. This underwear mark. No, either way, super old, should have retired, but she was good at teaching algebra, but she believed in me like next level, like, hey, I don't know why you're doing this, you're good at that, which I'm solid at math now, self-taught, but then she was so naive. I said, hey man, sometimes, I get a cough, I gotta leave, I don't want you to think I'm just walking. No, just go out, don't disrupt the class. A couple of hacks and I was out the door. Didn't come back.
No kidding.
Yeah, it didn't matter. She never turned me in, never anything. But she was too kind for me to ever listen to.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And then, what was her name? I still have. This was from 2nd grade.
Ooh, what a memory.
Miss McKinley, and she believed in me when nobody else did, and they couldn't do anything with me. And she was like, no. You know what she would do? She would take me, like, during the regular classes. I couldn't sit still. She's like, okay. It was like having a heckler, but I wasn't trying to do anything. I just was like this. And so she would go give me books on things I liked.
Yeah.
And put me on the edge of the class. And I didn't even know this. I just was like, it was American Indians, sharks, whales, and airplanes.
I remember you were into sharks. Somehow it angered me. I'm like, all right, enough with the fucking sharks.
When we were kids?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't shut up. My dad would pull me aside and go, buddy. Like they had a party one time. He's like, you can't, I was that fucked up. I'd be like, and these sharks are like this, and then they have that, and the dorsal fin and the pectoral fin, and
I think you even gave me a self-defense on hammerheads, and I wanted to punch you right in your face. You grabbed I really feel like I'm like,
yeah, you gotta grab them like this, and then you can grab them like that. Like
you dumb fucker, you live in Michigan. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I think that's where you at.
Here's a largemouth bass that you might want to use.
That's a pike you're afraid of, and you probably should be. But fucking idiot.
Oh, I couldn't stand. And it's funny is we had a aquarium. We had an aquarium and. There was a diver, a little figurine of a diver.
I know what you mean.
And a little gold chest. And I just thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So I would take that thing and I would stick my arm all the way down in the thing and swim that guy around, I thought it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I couldn't, I don't even know what was really wrong with me.
Oh, I bet they did.
Mentally?
Yeah. It's not really anything wrong. It's just who you were.
Well, did it just go away? Because how can you be that jacked up and not be a decent person now? Are you trying to... Is this an intervention?
When you have to ask if your problem went away, it probably hasn't. Did I go away? Nah, Rich, you're still fucking retarded.
Come on, man.
Oh,
God,
man.
What is the deal?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have your intensity level of movement, but I felt your pain. There was nothing going to keep me in that chair, man. It was impossible. It hurt my belly. It's like butterflies with thorns on them.
I cried every day before.
Did you?
Every single day.
I didn't cry, but I was so stressed out knowing what was in front of me, man. Like, you guys are just like you're going back to prison for a day. SRA reading lab. Did you all have that where you push the buttons, have the headphones and shit on? So I did great. Just that little bit of movement, pushing the buttons, reading the story, answering the question. There was enough physical activity in that I killed it in that class. I was always a good reader, but to read something boring, or it had to be of interest to me, you know.
I think what made the teachers so frustrated was everything they tested me on I was off the charts in. But then I'd be I'd be like a savant in class, and they were going to put me in special classes. Like they brought Dad down there to say, we're putting him in LD classes. I'm not kidding you. They did.
Richie,
Merle,
you don't have to convince me.
no, really.
No, I know. You don't have to really. You don't have to convince me.
So they brought Dad down there. Mr. Stith was the principal. They said, this is where we want to put him because we can't do anything with him. And they walked down there and he looked at the class and he was like, people were just hardcore.
Like you.
All day.
A whole class full of helmets, and it wasn't football.
What is this place?
Ragains is the only guy on his bus that doesn't need the lift gate. What's that tell you? Oh, they get him that foam helmet that really won't stop much, but they don't have one that small. Gosh.
Can
you imagine how much...
I was like, guess who's going to be the captain of this football team?
Who's the coolest motherfucker in this English class? Helping everyone, charging for tutoring.
I don't know the answer to that.
Everybody you helped with their schoolwork replied, thank you. No, okay. This is the second time we went down this road. It's got to stop. But you realize how cool you would have been if they would have put you in there? Even now, I think it would have paid dividends. This would be a way cooler experience. And especially if you bought into it. I am dumb.
What was that movie Johnny Knoxville did where he played him?
Oh, dude, for the Special Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
But no, my dad went in there and he was like, what?
He's dumb, but he isn't this dumb.
He turned on that principal, started screaming at him. He said, he said, you think my boy belongs in that class? Then look, I know what the problem is here. You're not doing your fucking job. My dad was standing over the principal's desk going, you're fucking, and they said all this stuff.
And inside he's going, this is a perfect class for Rich.
He was going, this is just...
I'm just, the true story is probably going, how long has this been around? Why didn't I know about this? He could have been excelling. Ragains tells the story the other way around. You're not putting him in here.
Did you just come up with these classes?
Did you have this for the kindergartners too? Because he's been fucking stupid from the day we walked him in here. Oh, man. Golly, it's so true and you know it.
So true.
I can't even picture Merle yelling.
Oh, God.
Holding his cold hot dog breakfast sandwich.
Oh. He punched me in the face 2 different times. Straight
That's amazing.
bar fight punch.
And my old man had the reputation for, and he never did any of, oh man, he talked to you, wanted to be punched in the face.
Terrifying. But you know what was funny? Everybody was so scared of him and I wasn't.
Is that right?
Oh,
I was scared of your dad, but it was a respectful fear. It's like, dude, that dude's got his shit together. You can't act like you.
No, you know how you ever see those videos and they're like, oh, we're the Woodsy family and we play with these pet grizzly bears, and then you see the kids playing with the bear and they're like swinging from his whiskers and stuff, and you're like, oh man, that was me with Uncle Jack.
Yeah,
everybody
that's true,
was scared,
man.
but I knew he loved me. You know, Bill said one time, the Ragains will love you, but Van Hooks will love you harder.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. And I said, man, my old man, he had his flaws by the truckload, but one of them wasn't kicking you when he knew you were really down. Not bullshit down, man, life's a bitch, whatever. Truly having a fucking bad day or something horrible happened to you, he was gold. Mm-hmm. The rest of the time, lead. I said that. I said I got either lead. Really good or really bad. No in between.
So he was gold or lead.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a metaphor.
Yeah.
You know, with Dad, the everyday keeping everything together was great, but when the shit hit the fan, it was Maji that was the rock.
Yeah, that's like a Van Hook trait.
When the shit's going crazy, they're fine.
Yeah.
But like when there's a small thing with the Ragains family, well, they're going to shun you for a month.
Yeah.
Or they're going to, it's not, Van Hooks are going to fight it out.
Yeah.
Brawl it out in the street, and then it's over, and you're back at dinner that night, and it's over, which I like better. But I remember that getting shunned.
Yeah, Peggy's family's that. I think a lot of people were that way, but I think they were the Van Hooks were so chaotic and nuts in their own headspace that what you saw as some massive problem, or what Merle would have seen as holy fuck, they're like, that's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like there's just.
But I tell you, the Ragains were so respectful of everybody. Like they gave it's such a different dynamic, because one is like one will we could tell a dirty joke at a Van Hook dinner table.
Yeah,
that was not going down at the Reagans. But on the other hand, too, they were so respectful and respected, and I learned so much from Grandma. My poor grandma when I was out there. Oh, this city kid that won't stop. That wasn't enough room for me.
Yeah,
that whole farm for me, jumping around and talking and yelling, and I just was.
You were twice as hyper as me.
Oh, I was twice hyper anyway.
Yeah,
and then I didn't. But that was the happiest I ever was those summers on both farms, because I could just. That's where I belong, was ripping and running. Think if they changed schools around like that, where it was outdoor school. In Germany, they do that kind of shit. They have outdoor, the kids are out every day, they walk in all kinds of weather, they do all this stuff, they learn different things. Kids are learning nothing.
They incinerate Jews, too, so I don't know.
Those are just the D students,
They got a nice engineering program, but they'll cook you in a minute, those fuckers. Nah.
No, I think we should think about it this way. Okay, if you would have had 3 things to do, and you had full charge of the curriculum in the school from when you started in kindergarten to 6th grade, what 3 changes would you make if you could make any change at all?
Free pot. No, I'm kidding. Not for kindergartners.
Gummies.
Yeah. No, I don't know. For sure, you should be able to get out of that chair or have a bouncy chair. You have to have movement. Stand-up desks would have been gold. What else?
Stand-up desk is a great idea.
Oh, yeah. I have one now. It's the greatest thing. I mean, so my ADD works great for me. I've got 50,000 things going on. Works great, but I have to bounce around, and I cannot sit in that chair even to this day. I mean, like now, I could do this for a while, but not for 6 hours, man.
Well, I think so much of it, here's what I think I would do. So much of what we had to learn growing up was memorization.
Yeah.
Now, history, it's kind of got to be that, but you can do it in a special way. But I would do things that are more tactile, that were more hands-on. I would do actual life things that you need. I would teach kids how to do something like change a tire, or do things you just need to know how to do. You throw a guy a set of tie-down straps, and I can tell you about his dad.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a really heavy skill set, those fucking things.
Everybody has trouble with them.
Yeah.
But I showed Julian like over and over and over, and he was so pissed off at me about it.
Yep.
And then I said, one of these days you're going to be in college, and some girls are going to nobody's going to know how to use these fucking things on a canoe trip, and you're going to be the dude that saves the day because you know how to use tie-down straps. But everything, cooking. They should bring back home ec and wood shop and metal shop and shit like that. There's
it was sex oriented. The girls didn't get to take shop. Isn't that crazy? They'd put your ass in court today. We had metal shop, and then you had to pour foundry aluminum into a mold. 7th grade, they got you dealing with molten steel, and then you had sheet metal. You had to pop rivet. I think we made a sugar scoop. And then you had the lathe. That's the best thing for a 7th grader, something to rip their fucking arm off. But either way, we had to make a plumb bob or something else. Yeah, those classes were gold for me. But and then
that was the best.
So then the other third of the year was wood shop, and it involved plexiglass. You had to make a plastic letter opener or some shit. You had to use the lathe, and you had to make like a shelf or a gun rack. And then the next third was drafting. And you had to draw a floor plan, a house floor plan, for sure, to the T.
Yeah, we had to do. Did you build the one out of sticks where you use the two?
No, draw. I'm sorry. No, we never actually got to physically build a 3D, but you had to work on that every day. You better use the T square and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a bus driver smoked.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Fuck yeah. Even the kids, when Megan was little, her cheer coach would stand at the door of the school and hold her cigarette out the door while she coached them. Oh, that's so good.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so last night I watched a movie, and I think you've seen it. Have you seen Founder? Michael Keaton.
No, I hate him. No,
What?
go ahead. He's just so over.
Really?
It's time for him to go. But either way, Founder,
You really don't like him?
not really.
Why?
I don't know.
Is it because there's a tiny bit of jealousy that everybody loves him so much?
Do they?
And you don't understand why? No, I got some people like that. I'm trying to think who that is. Everybody's like, oh, I love so and so. I can't.
Maybe I'm burnt out on him.
From what?
I don't know. He's always in the middle of some, never knocking it out of the park, but it always gets to the past second base when he hits.
Okay, do you think it could be the thing where you need to just give him another chance?
Didn't he do Batman? I'm not a movie guy either. I hate
Batman.
movies.
Batman. I thought he was great, but I never. I just can't get past any of the Batmans. I mean,
Yeah.
the Dark Knight was a fucking great movie. There's
Shit.
no way. That's not my thing. It's not my kind
Right.
of movie. Can't say enough about how good that movie was. But I'm an original Batman. I just don't see when. Okay, it's like anybody that's not Sean Connery's not James Bond.
I agree.
I mean, it's not him. It's like when I see. Okay, when Robert Duvall acts, I don't see Robert Duvall. I see the guy he's playing. When Tom Cruise acts, as good as he is, I only see Tom Cruise. But the movie Founder, I can't recommend it enough. I won't give the whole thing away, but you really should see that movie. And not because of the whole, the movie.
What's the subject? You don't have
The
to tell me
subject
what.
is the two guys that came up with the McDonald's idea. They're two brothers. They made the shop. We grew up in Grandpa's shop.
They made the ketchup funnel. And
They made
I
the
saw
ketchup
that.
funnel. They made the whole thing, and they made it work this way. And they did their own time and motion studies, and they did to get rid of costs. That's why it's in a bag. They kind of invented fast food. You just throw the whole thing away. So they did this. He was a milkshake machine salesman, Ray Kroc, which you always think about. Ray Kroc's the owner of McDonald's.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Ray Kroc, founder of McDonald's. He's not the founder. These two brothers did it. And he got in with them, and he started hanging out with them. And he was thinking this is the greatest thing ever. And he said, let's franchise. Let me help you franchise it. And then he goes to franchise it. And he doesn't want to do the same things they do. If it was up to them, they would have kept it as one local shop. And he wanted to conquer the world with McDonald's. It's a fantastic movie, but I thought you'd seen it or I wouldn't have brought it up today.
So what's weird, I saw the preview snippet last night when I was looking for something. I'm just about done with Netflix and all that shit, but I'll check it out. That might be a keeper.
Okay, but most of my recommendations are pretty damn solid.
They're pretty solid, I gotta tell you, man. But yeah, I'm just not a huge movie guy.
I am an absolute huge movie guy, but you know what? It's not just for that, it's for the story.
If it's got a good story, it's
any movie. I mean, one of the reasons I love movies is because I love the stories of movies.
Well, if it's a good story, fuck.
A good story can make up for a good movie, and a really well-made movie can make a story really kick ass. You know. And what about Stella? I didn't do anything for Stella's Valentine's Day. I just sent a text and said, hey, tell Stella I love her. She said, oh, she's already asleep.
Gotcha.
Or I just called to say hi. I mean,
yeah.
I sent a text and said, is Stella there? Can I talk to her? And she said she's already asleep.
Yeah,
so
I sucked. I didn't. I got her flowers and a card. And told her don't get me anything. She bought me one of those seep cups for your tea. Because I do that hibiscus tea shit. And then, what else? She bought me some super dark chocolate because I eat a little tiny piece of that every day.
That chocolate or the cool chocolate?
The good, healthy, shitty tasting chocolate.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't, man, the more you go with darker chocolate, the more you'll like it.
Oh, I agree.
Milk chocolate's fucking terrible.
Yeah,
because my girl this Halloween, she was like, "Hey, I want some dark chocolate." I didn't know it was a metaphor.
Hey now,
who's this Latrell guy? Anybody? Not me. What's going on? Oh my god! So I looked on Twitter.
It's my old dance name. Just thought I'd throw it.
That's one of the things in my life I want to happen. I want to spread. Used to be my dance name. Throughout the whole world.
You're working on it.
I saw what it did with the Landing Kids, and I just feel like I'd like to be known as the guy who came up with... That's like being the guy that came up with That's What She Said.
Yeah.
And this is... I gotta tell you, the thing about used to be my dance name? It's a surprisingly clean version. that you can use in any situation. That you're not going to offend anybody because it's your dance name.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate.
Look at you reading the room.
Look at me reading the room. Because if you say that's what she said in mixed company, there's a lot of women that will get pissed off about that, which we don't care.
Yeah, I don't care
I
at
don't
all.
give two shits if you're offended. It's a social event. Go fuck yourself. But
That's what she said. Come on now.
used to be my dance name. So
Go fuck yourself. I have been. My arm actually hurts.
what's that?
Dude.
What's that joke? That old joke about, you know, they meet a piano player at this place and they're like, oh, you know, he's really, really good, and he gets up there and his first song is, you know, I call this one, you know, I'm gonna suck your tits until you shit your pants. And they're like, oh my God, and he plays the most beautiful music you ever heard, and everybody goes, oh my God, he's so great, but he's so dirty. So the owner's struggling with, do I keep him around? But then he plays and everybody's just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful, but you know, the name of this song is I'm gonna pee in your sock drawer, you know, and they're like, oh God, so he's just struggling, and the guy's like, look man, you just can't be doing these kind of songs. You got one night left to prove yourself. If you can't say anything dirty to the guy without looking, he still wants to do something, so he unzips his pants and pulls his balls out, and the guy goes, he's playing, he goes, hey man, do you know, this guy in the crowd goes, hey, you know that your pants are unzipped and your balls are hanging out? And the guy goes, no, I wrote it.
That's a joke a guy that drinks black coffee would love.
That's one of those oldie jokes you heard at the bar, you know?
Oh man. I can't do jokes. I hate it. What else you got on that sheet over there?
Well, that wasn't even on there, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I've only talked on, let me see.
Are you telling me you've gotten off course with your list? Doesn't sound like you.
Talking about my teachers.
And then Merle's confused as to why they recommended the...
Okay, I want to put down something here because the whole dance name. I really want... No, I want to be known for that.
I'll spread the word.
Can you imagine being the inventor of That's What She Said?
You know, I can't imagine that. It's so weird.
Look at my pillow over there.
That's What She Said.
I got a That's What She Said pillow on the
With
couch.
Mighty Mouse. I hated that cartoon.
Really?
Fucker. Oh,
he was my first crush.
You know what you watched? You guys were so big on it. I used to want to just punch you in the neck.
You wanted to punch everybody.
That's
Johnny
true.
Quest.
Johnny Quest. You were all about
You didn't
that
like Johnny
shit.
Quest?
I did not. Hung out with that fucking
Haji.
that shady
Bandit.
fucker.
Dr. Quest. Ray Spannon.
Oh,
With the
God.
white hair. It was a Mike Pence that
Who?
could fight.
That's true.
Remember, he looked just
And
like
then he
Mike
went,
Pence.
and then he took that job with Scooby Doo, a younger version. He was just the blonde-haired dude on fucking Scooby Doo.
Scrappy Doo. I was over. That's so bad.
That jumped the shark.
Jumped the shark. He jumped the shark with Scrappy Doo.
It's like colored Mayberry RFD.
Over.
Done.
I've seen every single Andy Griffith episode and not one colored one.
Not one. I can't
terrible.
turn the channel quick enough.
They're done. You hated Mighty Mouse?
I hated Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, I had an actual crush.
Is that right?
Not a sexual crush. Just like a Beatles. Like, I don't know, what's the word for it?
If you had a sexual crush on a cartoon character, who would it have been?
Jessica Rabbit. There's no second.
No, as a
Get the
kid.
fuck-
There was no Jessica Rabbit. I'm talking about when you were a young,
Oh.
hormonally charged.
Oh. I don't know. Well, one of my questions here is...
Oh, mine's easy.
What was yours?
Oh, that mom on the Jetsons. Oh, I would tear her up.
No, I'm sometime there with
Wilma and Betty.
Lois Griffin. Sometimes.
That's too recent. No, you're a grown man, for God's sake, man.
I
You're
wasn't
whacking
thinking
off
about
to
sex
fucking
when I
Homer
was
Simpson.
5.
What? No, but
like
looking
you.
back at your childhood cartoons, who would you have both? Not just shows. So for me,
You were a Betty Rubble girl guy?
Betty or Wilma.
Wilma was
Oh,
your...
either one. The three of us together would have been an amazing night. But yeah, that.
Not a lot of lube back then.
And then June Cleaver for sure.
That was
I Dream
right out
of
of my
Jeannie,
mouth.
Cakewalk.
That's a layup.
That's
I
a
Dream of
layup.
Jeannie.
Who else?
June Cleaver was absolute hormonal boner time.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if she was good in the sack.
It wouldn't matter because Ward was not. He
was a freak.
So bad.
No, I don't agree. I bet he was a.
You think? Even if he was a freak, it wouldn't be the good kind they'd like. It'd be some weird shit. Smashing her hand in the
a weird
briefcase.
European thing where he's putting random objects in your beehole. I'll tell you what. No, the worst would have to be the beaver. There's no way he could be any good in the sack.
He'd be better than Wally. Said Eddie Haskell's going to eat your butt.
Eddie Haskell was the best. I don't know, dude.
Of course, he's going to give you an STD and fucking leave you with the bill.
That's who the girls will like, right? That's who the girls will like. Is Eddie
Lumpy, he's just too lazy.
Lumpy, no, he's good for a minute.
He was probably hung.
Oh, you know, Lumpy was hung. If your name's Lumpy, you got a huge one.
Or maybe it's all balls and no meat.
One or the other.
Yeah.
As long as you can make slappy noises, I think that's what the whole. That's what I learned at scout camp. I don't know. So.
I disagree. I don't want any slappy noises.
You know, there's a lady on TikTok that talks about that everybody, she calls it the poking pandemic and says everybody is having sex wrong. Everybody.
Really? Huh.
Name's Jessica something. You would have thought I'd remember. I wrote it down. But she is saying that it's all in. It's not the whole clit thing. It comes down in like a wishbone. All those, I don't know what you even call female sensitive parts. Parts that apparently make them think you're cool.
Ragains calls them "Who cares?"
Yeah, it's French for something.
I'm bumping into her. Who cares?
Bumping into you. Shut the fuck ups. So no, and she says it's a mash, weighted down, grind, kind of a jiu-jitsu thing. You put all your weight on them. The same thing you do at the top end in jiu-jitsu is what you do in the bottom end thing with Peggy, okay? So when you go home today, just in the middle of it, tell her I got this from Reagan, so...
She'll love that.
You know what? You might not want to do that. Anyway, but it's a whole rubby thing, not a whole slappy thing.
I don't believe in smashing into it. I think you got to hit the brakes, just barely bump it. It's like, oops, I'm sorry. Not...
No, I think you've got to actually spell the alphabet with your pubic bone. Well, you know that thing about they said you don't know how to eat pussy, you spell the alphabet, right?
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
Okay, well, one time, you'll love this. Of course it's stupid, but anyway, I was up in Indy, and there's this guy named Teshlog, and Teshlog was he's just one of those guys you never knew how he ended up with these hot girls, but he always just did. And they all said the same thing. Oh my God, nobody's ever gone down on me like Teshlog. You know, but it's it's a weird Slavic name or something like that. It is, believe it or not, I swear to God. And so I asked Bowers, one time I was with this chick and I knew it was going down, so I called him up on the phone and said, hey man, remember that chick that was so hot? He's like, yeah. He's like, I got her. She's in the hotel room. We're getting ready to get down. We're having a blast. By the way, how do you spell Teshlog? So it's okay to spell somebody else's name. I don't know. I think that's all bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, French toast, waffles, or pancakes?
Neither. None of them. Oh, I hate that. Oh, eggs and potatoes.
What?
I can't even. All three options would be like a living hell for me. But if I were to eat one, it would be the pancake. For sure, with lots of butter.
Okay, well, you know I'm kind of down with butter, so.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What's yours?
Okay, the waffle from Waffle House, it's a terrible waffle. But there's something about it. It's got that bologna sandwich vibe to it that's just, it's bad, but it's good. You know the syrup's not even real syrup. It's not even close to it. It's made in a lab somewhere. French toast.
Oh, I can smell that egg in there. It makes me sick.
It's so great.
What?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I just wouldn't eat that.
Pancakes, how?
I could take a bite of the waffle and I go, I just taste the syrup. The pancake, like the grandkids sometimes, you take them to Cracker Barrel and they don't eat it all, and I'll take a little bite and I'm like, oh, that's kind of good, but just not my jam.
But I only want a couple of bites.
Yeah.
It's so filling and sugary.
Yep.
But French toast all day long. But that dude, Chef Paul, I was telling you about at the French restaurant, he would make them if you were hungover. And he said it would cure a hangover.
French toast would?
Yeah. And cognac. I don't know if he had a drinking problem or not, but he knew it the first time it was in the kitchen, I'll tell you that.
Interesting. You don't smell that egg smell when you... That weird little kick?
Yes.
Oh, I can't stand it, man.
Really?
Yeah, even in my eggs, if I smell that, so I add water, it seems like I don't smell it, but no way, man.
No, you add heavy whipping cream.
So if you want fluffy eggs, you add water. If you want a fluffy egg, just add a little shot of water and watch what happens.
Have you ever put bubbly water in there?
No.
Seltzer water? People put mix it in with the batter of their fried chicken, and the little holes makes it crispy and crunchy. And I tried it and it worked. That's a lot of reason why they use beer.
Yeah.
I found this Asian guy online that does this crispy chicken, and I tried it one time with seltzer water, and it was so good. Isn't that weird? I love learning new stuff. All the time, I love learning new stuff about everything.
Yeah, no. I normally don't even do the toast. Eggs and potatoes. Prefer shredded hash browns.
Any kind of fried potato.
Yeah, it's true.
When I was in Ireland, you wouldn't think this is true, but when I was in Ireland, every potato product I had was the best I ever had.
Why wouldn't you think that's true? It's Ireland.
Because it's such a cliche. You're also thinking.
You said they have the best churros. Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, you'd think Bandera, Texas would have awesome Mexican food. It's got terrible Mexican food. It's got 3 terrible restaurants. Now it's got one that's okay. It's passable, but none of them are any good.
I don't think any of them are good around here. It's all this El Nepal shit.
No, you got to go to El Mundo.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what? These taquerias over here, they have good tacos.
Is that right? You told me about one.
There's one right down here, and there's one over here. Those are good, but the whole El Nepal thing.
Now their salsa's on point, dude.
So good. And it's not even that's an American thing.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you that cultures will come together. We were talking about the cartoons you might have a crush on. One of mine was, what's your celebrity crush? And then what's a person, either celebrity or not celebrity, that you had a weird attraction to that you shouldn't? You ever have somebody that, I like girls that are thick, I like girls with big boobs, I like girls with high cheekbones, I like dark eyes, I gotta have pretty feet. There's things everybody loves that they have, but weirdly attractive.
Well, Mary Steenburgen wins by far, and I'm not really into that tall, long neck.
Who is that?
She was in a Clockwork Orange.
Oh man!
I think it's Malcolm McDowell's wife, isn't it? She was in Step Brothers. She was the mom. in Step.
You told me that.
Yeah.
She was in A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah,
she's in all those movies.
I think she shows her boobs.
You told me that years ago that you had a thing for her.
Yeah, and that's not my style at all. But and some of it, I like a beaky chick.
Justine was into big noses on men.
Really?
She loved big noses. Any guy that was like from Turkey or Italy or had a huge nose. Adrian Brody was her crush.
Well, I don't want a huge nose, but like just a little beaky. I don't know, maybe even a little humpish, ish. Yeah, and a little bit of ear
like
action.
Roman nose.
Yeah, just maybe a little bump that would really upset her, and I would find it very attractive. Yeah, and maybe even a little bit of different ears.
Remember growing up, Jeannie, our friend, she had a Roman nose.
Yeah.
Remember that? I haven't talked to them forever. Remember they were.
She got a daughter or something?
Yeah,
cool lady.
Yeah, she's college now. It's crazy.
Isn't it?
Okay, one of mine. Okay, for instance, Cameron Diaz. So hot, so cute, does nothing for me.
Yeah, I can't, you can't deny she's cute, but yeah, she would do it. You got to be older too. I'm just not into young chicks.
She's not young.
And I think that goes back to June Cleaver. When you whack off, and that's what you're whacking off to, you can't just turn around and go, Cameron Diaz. That's easy.
She didn't do it for me. Everybody talked about when she was at her heyday, like when she was doing something about Mary.
Yeah.
And she was she's a beautiful woman and all that. She did porn.
What?
Straight porn.
Cameron Diaz.
Straight porn. I don't know. I've never seen porn, but I'll tell you this much. If you go on one of those places and put in Cameron Diaz, it's real, straight up. She was in Hollywood, needed money, poor actress, and she was doing. She's done a number of movies that I've never seen.
Yeah, well,
but she doesn't. And
I didn't know that.
No, she did. Okay,
that's more interesting. That's interesting.
Okay, a couple of my celebrity crushes. Penelope Cruz.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, well,
I thought your whole point was to go out on a limb a little bit.
Well, I have two things here. It says right here in my notes, just like when I was in school, celebrity crush and then weirdly attractive. So my celebrity crush is Salma Hayek, Penelope Cruz, Raquel Welch growing up. Oh my Lord, Farrah Fawcett growing up.
Raquel Welch.
I mean, she was
Sophia Loren.
Sophia Loren just was coming right out of my mouth. But that whole Raquel Welch had that thing that came down like this and those hips that came around. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Okay, mine that I couldn't understand, a crush I couldn't understand that I had. I couldn't even understand it when I was a kid.
What's his name?
Jed Plant.
Yul Brenner. That is weird,
It was
Rich.
actually a Mr. Clean thing, but I don't know why Yul Brenner kept popping up during my sessions. So, no, it was Miss Jane on the Beverly Hillbillies.
Okay, no. I can feel my penis crawling in my body.
You would think, but the
What?
No, here was the thing. If you looked at her, if you could get rid of the hair, she had
Okay.
actually real pretty eyes and a pretty smile.
Richie.
But she had that weird just look to her.
She might be. She was
And
Olive Oil's
she had,
twin
okay,
sister.
you know how you have the other thing I like on a girl? I like when they have a tight jawline, you know? Yeah, I did. Look up some pictures of her.
Oh, dude,
Is that
I'm
what
not.
you're doing?
No, I can't. It won't even pull up.
What do you mean it won't pull up?
Miss Jane.
Just pull up Miss Jane Beverly
From-
Hillbillies. I mean, golly.
Oh, Richie, dude, come on.
Well, I told you it was a crush.
Okay, well, all right, I'll give you. Okay. Now maybe I could see,
Yeah,
but
you gotta give
I'm
it a
still
second.
not with you.
Well, look. First of all, look at her eyes.
She looks like the last kid
They
to
were
get picked on a
beautiful.
kickball game.
I know, but if you look, I know, but she had a pretty smile, and she had. I tell you
Let's-
something. And if you really look at it, you want to know something weird.
There you go. There you go. How's your boner doing now,
It's
Captain?
It's not that great.
And then look
Ellie
who's in
Mae
the
was-
back with Mr.
Look at-
I was going to call him Mr.
Drysdale.
Howell.
Mr. Drysdale.
Same
Look
thing.
at Ellie Mae.
Yeah.
Okay,
She was on there, man.
She was totally.
Oh, here's one more. Look. Let's keep this in mind. You're picking the one on the right, are you?
Okay, but if you put the glasses and the hair on the other one, they'd look the same way.
Well, it really wouldn't.
Don't you?
But, Cuckoo, it says.
Cuckoo.
Miss Jane Hathaway.
Miss Jane Hathaway.
She's got nice legs.
She does.
I'm not with you, man. I'm
But
sorry.
she's got. Oh, but again, this is my weird. You didn't give me one of your weird ones.
I'm trying to think of what my weird one would be. It's not her. Who would it be?
It'd be somebody you'd be embarrassed to
Yeah.
talk about. To be like, what? But I would. There's no way. I don't know.
And you know, on the
why.
flip side, I can find beauty in almost any woman. Some feature or something I can go, oh man, come on, you know.
Right.
But apparently not when I want to chub up. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that would be.
Well,
And okay, Twitter, real quick. Okay, battery's still there and it's low. I gotta find some different batteries or something. I looked on Twitter to see. Okay, I was thinking the other day, if you just without any shame at all, asked yourself how good you are at something, because you're a very humble person. I'll talk about how good you are at jiu-jitsu, or how the fact that your dojo is severely successful and you always go, aw shucks, and divert it to everybody else.
Yeah.
But I think this, okay, for instance, for an example, I think I'm as good as at this shit as Joe Rogan. Now, is he great at what he does? Yes. Am I taking anything away from him? No. But if you took somebody that never heard of either one of us and put our little podcast and his little podcast next to each other, now, am I that good? Now he's done 500 of them. I've done a handful of them. I've been on a ton of them.
right.
But as far as having something to talk about, yeah, he has more interesting people. But if we had the same people, same whatever, I'm at least in the league. It's not about who's better. It's about, can you hang with those people? It's kind of like when you were coming up as a brown belt and you would fight the people that taught you, your instructors, the black belts, and then you'd be like, I'm really giving them a lot of trouble. That means you're in their league, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been thinking about that lately. I was looking at my tweets. Okay, and I don't have a ton of followers. I got like 1,500 followers on Twitter. And I'm not on here all the time. But I looked at it, and so much of it is so dumb. And I was looking at my tweets going, are my tweets not getting, I get 1 like, 2 likes, 3 likes, 1 comment maybe.
Yeah.
Are they really that bad? Or are they just, do I just not have a lot of followers?
I don't know. I think people just scan so fast. It's so addictive. I've never been on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, no.
And I put the stuff on there, and I thought, man, I think this is as good as the other stuff out there. This one here, I said I just watched a 4-hour, I watched a video of 4 Amish guys on a double handle saw cutting down a gigantic tree. They had a gang of 25 guys, and they would switch them out when the other ones got tired. Might seem a lot of work, but it's easier than starting my chainsaw. Okay, I think that's clever. It's solid.
Yeah.
I put it out there. Let's see what I got with it. 5 likes.
If only
No
the
comments.
Amish were on Twitter, they'd light that thing up. And have some guy from town drive the response over, type it in for him.
I don't know. This is my year. This is my year where I'm going to go, you know what? Good enough to knock this shit out.
Well, I don't know. I think it's my buddies get on me about that shit, and it's just like, you lower the bar. It's not even so much being humble. You lower the bar. You keep the expectations so low they're achievable. Life's sweet.
I wonder if that's something from us growing up. Because I think we kind of had a little bit of both of that in the same...
Yeah.
We weren't the same guy, but we both didn't fit in school very well.
No, for sure.
For different reasons. But I think all that stuff is... You got to think things are gonna happen and you're good enough to do it.
But you're not Henny Penny. You're the opposite. I'm Henny Penny. You just bear for the worst, and then... I read this quote one time. It said, when life exceeds your expectations, you're happy. And when it doesn't, you're really depressed and sad. That's it in a nutshell. Decides who's happy and who's sad. And I thought, for me, that absolutely nails it right out of the fucking park. There's nothing in my life that's not beyond any expectations I had. Not that I had this, it's never going to be good type thing. But for me, my life turned out 1,000 times better than, without even being pessimistic. I'm just saying it's like, holy fuck, are you kidding me? That's where I'm at. So for me, I just felt like by just going, it'll never work, or fuck, I don't know. It motivated me so that I wasn't right. And then secondly, if it went bad, I kind of pretended to be ready for it, and I probably wouldn't. I would probably been bummed. But I do believe that if you have this vision of what your life's going to be like and it doesn't work out, you're generally not happy.
I think people are... I agree with you, but I also believe this. I completely agree with you with no buts, but I think this. I think the real happiness comes from doing what you're doing without expectation of the outcome. If you're doing it because you love doing it, then you're doing it right.
Yeah, but what do you say? I didn't love water treatment, but I did do it without any expectation outcome. I thought, you got to grind, man.
Yeah.
But that people, I don't know. I don't feel like it was I know for sure it wasn't my dream, but I can tell you, even as a little kid, I always watched what people did and why, and I mean, really young age to be like, maybe you shouldn't be a dick. I remember it was Junkyards that was one of my first eye openers. I'm like, why does that guy have to be such a fuckwad? If you would be nice and clean up this counter and clean up this greasy ass room, and yeah, man, let me walk you back to that 72 Pontiac.
Like, ugh.
Yeah, they were fucking pricks, and everybody went to the junkyard back then. It's